Good morning. Good morning. Last week, I talked about a Sufi practice, the 4 C's. Anybody remember what they were? Okay, all right. So, there's this practice in the Sufi tradition, and it's called the 4 C's, and it's refraining from complaining, condemning, criticizing, and comparing. See, you got it. I don't know about you, but I found myself in a couple situations this week where I realized I was not practicing the 4 C's. Ever have one of those weeks, or even just 48 hours? This week I was at Unity Village. I was very blessed to be at Unity Village, our headquarters out in Kansas City. And I got to tell you, I got off the plane on Sunday night. It was 92 degrees. I was like, no need to complain. I embraced the 92 degrees. The next morning, it was 39 degrees. I was like, I think I'm going to complain now. But I had one of those experiences where on Monday, everything was in the flow. I mean, no, you know what? It actually started on Sunday evening, refraining from complaining. I walked into the car rental agency place, and in Kansas City, it's all the car rental places are in this one great big building together. I went to I think it's called Thrifty. I don't know, I'm trying to be a good steward. I go into the Thrifty shop where I always get my car, and the guy said, "Can I help you?" And I said, "Yes, I need to get a car." I said, "You should have all my information. I've always rented from here." He said, "Ma'am, my cars start at $129 a day. If you cross over there and go to the other side and go to Fox, you can get your car for $79 a day." I just looked at him. I said, "I always rent my car here." He goes, "Yeah, but if you go over there, you'll get the car for $79 a day." I said, "I guess that's what I'll be doing." I took my little suitcase, and I was like, this is very odd. And I turned around and I said, "Did you just give your business away? Do you just not want to help me?" He said, "You're the customer and I'm looking out what's best for you." Monday, I had this flow experience where even before I asked for it, it was there. I thought, I sure hope Continental Breakfast has shifted, because I need something more than just a bagel. Sure enough, there were hard-boiled eggs at the Continental Breakfast. I said, look, the universe is providing the abundance that I'm intending. I was like, ooh, this is fun. And then Tuesday happened. And Tuesday occurred because as time flows, I did not sleep on Monday night. And it was one of those every 10 minutes. And I knew that my day on Tuesday was not as luxurious as my Monday, which, by the way, I also went to my favorite retail store, resale shop. 7 outfits for $130. I was like, maybe I should go play the lottery. Tuesday morning, I was like, I got to sit in meetings and listen to financial reports, and I've had no sleep. And was there really still the same abundant flow on Tuesday as there was on Monday? I was committed to finding it. There was so much abundance on Tuesday, I couldn't tell if the freckles on my legs were truly freckles or seed ticks from the hike I had taken on Monday afternoon. I said to a friend, I think I need you to come look at these because my eyes must really be playing tricks with me. I can't tell if this is a freckle or a tick. He said, honey, it's called you're over 40. I was like, there's an abundance everywhere, no matter what. Whether it's my freckles, my ticks, or other people's eyes that are better than mine in this moment. And it really has sparked within me a reminder in our spiritual practice that true abundance is everywhere. We can look for true abundance in those things in which we really want to experience, and we can look for true abundance in those things that we label undesirable. And yet, if we can step back from either of those kinds of experiences and acknowledge that there is an abundant flow, and we're invited to get into that flow, and we have tools in which we can do that. So this morning, it's a two-part series called True Abundance. Nothing to lose and everything to gain. Are you ready for it?
We're ready.
You ready to hear that there's nothing to lose and everything to gain? Yes. And so we get to shift the way we think about the word lose.
What word?
Lose. There's nothing to lose, and yet what does that word mean? So if you haven't already figured out, I'm going down a little road of non-attachment, detachment, in the practice of spirituality. I had a teacher who used to say, as we grow as spiritual beings, it is about decumulation, not accumulation. Nothing like moving 8 days ago to teach me that one. Someone said this morning, all the boxes unpacked? I said, not the box with my dress shoes, and that box is nowhere to be found, which is why I'm in my thongs today. You know, those things that fit through your toe.
Right.
We are not putting this online, by the way. I heard myself. I get to let it go, right? On the spiritual journey, we can let go of things. And I think that's one of the easiest things for us to focus on. Easiest ways to know that it's simply a temporary experience that we're having on planet Earth. Let go of our attachment to the things. Let go. And sometimes that means that it goes away, and sometimes it just means we set it down. It's no longer the object of our obsession. So there's things we can let go of. And then there are relationships that we can let go of. Now that gets a little more complicated. When we let go of relationships, I invite us to really take a look at what is it in that relationship that we want to let go of? Or what is it in that relationship that we don't want to let go of? I was speaking to someone this week and I said, you know, we have this thing at our church where we do the box of blessings. People fill out these little cards, they take it, we give it to the people who are moving away. It's really wonderful. I said, I'd really like to have a few weeks where we don't need to do one of those. Because it hurts my heart. And yet, in relationship, when we hold for another their highest and best, when we're willing to let go of our attachment to what that highest and best looks like, we are truly serving one another. Because it's pretty easy, honestly, on Sunday morning for me to bless someone and say, you know, we'll love and we miss you and we behold the Christ in you. It's something else when a project arises on Wednesday and I think, oh, I wish so-and-so was here. Oh, that's right, she moved to Florida. In relationship, there's a part of ourselves that we give, and there's a part of that relationship in which we receive from the other. And it is in that giving and receiving that we experience abundance. And so that's why I think sometimes it's extra challenging to let go of relationships. Because when we're in that flow, it feels good. Yesterday morning, I was privileged to spend some time with some of your Board of Trustees, as well as the Board of Trustees of Unity of Fairfax. Their minister and myself speak to each other every 4 or 5 weeks. We're colleagues. We have a good relationship. We've known each other for a long time, and we've been discussing how do we help our key volunteers and our board of trustees connect and know that Unity Church and Unity Church Connections are not an island. We're not some little place in utopia that's isolated from everybody else. How do we connect in relationship to another spiritual community? And one of those ways is bringing the leadership teams together. It wasn't a earth-shattering 2 hours, yet it was really a relationship building, a giving and a taking, a conversation. What's working well for your church? This is what's working well for us. This is what we hope is happening in our church. This is where I hope we're going in our church. That community experience that expands and leads to relationships. And I've already had 2 emails from some of those folks there. When can we do it again? When can we do it again? The power of relationship. And yet, one of the things that I know is true for me, in order to create new relationships, like a new working relationship with another organization, I have to be willing to look at my plate of responsibility, or my schedule, or my iPhone that tells me all the places I'm supposed to be. And I get to say, you know what, I can shift this, I can let go of this, and make room for this new. The same is true as we make transitions in our jobs. The same is true as we make transitions with our personal relationships. Nothing like moving into a townhouse with 2 dogs who really like to bark, for me to begin breathing deeply, knowing I am going to be able to have a relationship with my neighbors. And part of that is declaring the intention. Declaring the intention. So we can give up things. We can give up our attachment to how relationships look. And ultimately, we get to look at what beliefs do we hold. That in order to experience true abundance, is there an idea? Is there an image? Is there a belief? Is there a conviction? Maybe very fairly rooted in a past experience, but a conviction that reflects not true abundance, but poverty consciousness. The Pazipalooza experience that we're going to have on May 31st, that concert with those musicians, that is an example of a leap of faith that we as a community are taking, and it is an opportunity for us to also expand our experience of the world and to create those relationships. And it's my opportunity to let go of my attachment to how many tickets are sold. And to say, you know what? It will all work out in the end. And not just the Unity platitude of, well, if it hasn't worked out, it always works out at the end, so it's not the end. No, no. Magical thinking is so fun when you first come to Unity, isn't it? And then you realize the work. I said, Spirit, I don't want to talk about letting go one more Sunday. And you know what I heard? That's right, let go. Let go of an attachment to something in my mind that gets in my own way, that's a resistance, or that's an obstacle to opening up to the experience of that true abundance. So let me say it a little differently. In other traditions, like the Native American spirituality, there's a process of letting go, and it begins with purification. And I really like that word. It's something that works well for me. Remember the scene in Harry Potter where the phoenix the bird, the red bird that's Dumbledore's. He turns to ashes, and then then a baby bird rises from those ashes. That's purification, when an experience of letting go of everything that we're attached to can make room for us to be reborn anew. In the Native American tradition, it's a sweat lodge experience. Some of us have had that. And I remember hearing from the Grand Master of the Sweat Lodge last summer saying, you might feel really great now. You might not feel so good tomorrow morning. Because purification is a letting go in a very physical way. And in Unity, I think that our purification is in letting go of beliefs and ideas that no longer serve us. So one of the things that I know is incredibly powerful is for us to create an intention. And we can do that through the experience of visualization. So this morning, in the next 3 minutes, I'm going to ask John to give me a little bit of music. I'm going to invite you into a visualization, a purification, a letting go, a shedding, if you will. And my challenge to you, if you're so willing, is to not be attached to what shows up in your mind, to release. Because my experience is often the first thing that comes up, I go, oh, no, there must be something deeper. I'm very spiritual. I want a real thing to let go of. Trust me, if you just listen to the first intention, the first thing that comes to mind, we make space for purification to happen. And so some of you already closed your eyes, and that's great. I want to remind you of the story of Michelangelo, the artist. And what he said was that within the marble, within the stone, was already the beautiful statue of David. His job was to chip away the part of the marble that did not reveal that exquisite statue. What if our visualization this morning can be simply that? A chipping away of some aspect that we're carrying in our personality, a belief, a wound. So I invite you to turn within and to sense and see, perhaps you are on a path. And it's a path in the woods, maybe similar to the woods that we have right outside our window. And this is a very conscious, intentional walk. You can feel the ground with each step your foot takes. And as you walk, you notice there's a large boulder that is in front of you. It's on your path. You may be tempted to say, well, I can just go around it. And we do that in life. We go around our boulders. And yet in this moment, I invite you to know that the power and the presence of love in this room says, stand in front of the boulder. And with your mind's eye, with the power of imagination, begin to chip away at that boulder. That boulder that represents a belief. A belief that says there's not enough. Or a belief that says I am not enough. Simply standing in front of that boulder and beginning to chip away is denying the power that boulder can have in your life anymore. And for some of us, it may seem very easy to visualize this. And for some of us, it may be more of a challenge. I invite you not to criticize, complain, or condemn yourself. In this visualization, we simply acknowledge that which is before us, and we let go of our attachment to it. We let go because love has us. And so without attachment to what it is that is emerging from that boulder, let us know without a shadow of a doubt, the power lies within us to shape this circumstance, this experience, this belief into a new expression. Without judgment, a new expression that can serve us. And perhaps part of that expression is a new perspective. A new perspective that says, I choose to believe. I choose to believe that a healing in this relationship is possible. And I let go of my attachment to it. I choose to let go of a very specific outcome in my life. And as I chip away that which no longer serves, I'm opening up in my heart and spirit to a greater understanding of what my purpose is. And perhaps if we're simply standing there in front of the boulder, and we don't feel ready to chip away, we can simply look at the boulder and to have the faith of a mustard seed and say, move from my path, and it moves. Opening our minds and hearts, clearing the path of our spiritual journey so that we may shine the light that we are in an even greater radiance. Blessing our communities and blessing each other. So we bring our attention back to this place and time. Knowing that this image of the boulder may come back to us in a meditation or in sleep. We immerse ourselves in the awareness of the one presence, and we let go. Namaste.